Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, marks and smarks alike, we proudly welcome you to the internet's only wrestling podcast. That's right, we are the only one. We want to welcome you to Pin the Champ!
Oh my goodness, guys, it is happening again. It's time for another episode of Pin the Champ. Tonight, we got Song.
Hello.
And we have myself, Jeremiah, and our special guest today is a returning Sawyer. Sawyer is back to guest for us today.
Not only returning a champion, because this time Kyle lost the Loser Leaves Town match. He had to go to Texas, so he's starting out back down south again.
He's in the
I'm back on
territory.
top, baby.
Wait, I'm a bit confused as to why he's returning. The last episode I listened to, Sawyer was on it.
Exactly.
Somebody help me out here.
So, so that's something I was actually pointing out before we hit the record button today. It's kind of funny because it's like we don't record live or anything, and so I know for a fact it was like, okay, Sawyer's going to be doing other things, and then like the next 3 episodes, Sawyer's still on it, and then he's our special guest today. There's more Sawyer on here than like anybody else.
It's like when Chris Farley died, and you're like, he's gone, we'll never see him again, and then he still shows up in like 6 more movies.
You're like Tupac, you're still making records.
Tupac, I'm hanging out with Chris Farley and Tupac, baby. We're all alive.
Yeah, Kyle's out of town. He's picking out his Dusty Rhodes boots right now. And he's
Hard times,
baby. So today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Monday Night Raw episode that took place way back on March 1st of 1993. So as we always say, if you'd like a refresher, feel free to go check out the episode on WWE Network or however you illegally download your content.
You owe us money if you listen to it but don't watch. Like if we give you the play-by-play, you need to at least donate to Pin the Champ.
Yes, our information will be at the end of the episode. I do want to mention to our listeners that we really appreciate each and every person who's listening. We want to let you know that you can find us on the following podcast apps. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Podbean, and YouTube. And yes, I feel very proud of that.
And when you guys do listen to us on these platforms, please subscribe.
Exactly. We have so little listeners that we will have time to actually review exactly who you are. So it better be positive. No, I'm just kidding. We thank
get at us in the comments.
But man. So Sawyer, since you've not recorded with us for a little while, what you been up to, man? How's things been?
I've rediscovered these ancient social gatherings called bars, I think they are. It's amazing. They serve this, I think it's alcohol.
Sawyer left the podcast to become an alcoholic.
Yeah, absolutely. I picked right at the end of COVID to be like, well, now I'll become an alcoholic. But it's been nice. It's crazy because you forget like specials are even a thing for like a minute too. Where they're like, it's like you're losing money, man. This is insane. But it's been nice. I've not been much of a beer drinker the last few years, just in terms of like adulthood, indigestion, pick one, so it's just like nice to just go out there and have like porch beers. And I've been working a new job. I've met quite the number of wrestling fans at work too.
Oh, that's cool.
Shout out to Avery if you're listening, Avery, buddy. But
you still hyping this up?
Hi,
Avery. To your new coworker.
I have. I'm going to tell y'all, and feel free to use this promotion if it applies to your workplace as well. I've taken my luchador mask and I put it at the corner, and I was prepared for a VP maybe at some point to tell me to take it down, but no one said otherwise, so it's been a week or two, and my VP's seen it. He hasn't commented on it, but he's seen it, and I'm like, I think we're in the clear. But I've had a lot of people. One guy asked if it's my alter ego, and I was like, yeah, I go out on Blue Fuego by night.
I need you to start wearing it at work, and I need you to also buy the tights that go with it and wear that.
Oh boy. I think I need to get it tailored. My big head has a little bit of trouble in that thing, though. I'm not gonna lie. It's
wrestlers on the
Right.
circuit, they do it themselves, man. You got to get a
true.
You got to get any. I mean, until you get to the WWE, you're not going to have enough money to.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
to
I did not do well in tailoring in theater class. So I don't know how.
It's never too late to learn, man.
We'll give it another try. But yeah, it's been good. My buddy Avery, because we got talking wrestling like real briefly on it, is I had to ask him who his favorite dude is because you always got to know who's your go-to. He said he's like, I hate to say it, but it's true. He loves Roman and Heyman right now. He says that team up. And I was like, dude, no, there's always a Michael Jordan, and there's nothing wrong with liking the Michael Jordan of the show, you know? Like
Roman's finally getting to that spot where it's going to be the only next logical step is going to be to bring The Rock back. For that Mania.
They're already kind of setting up for that. Did you see he was talking about either Rock or Cena? Like on social media or something, he was saying they shouldn't even try to come back.
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz.
They're planting the seed right now.
Yeah.
Well, Cena's got a movie to promote too.
That's true.
It's a big DC thing, so it's like we'll probably see him a lot, at least during that. If I know WWE and I know DC.
Well, he has that, and he's currently in the. He's also new in the Fast and Furious franchise now.
Oh,
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
He's playing Vin Diesel's brother. They look nothing alike. Crazy.
I didn't even know that much about it. That's funny.
They gotta have him and The Rock throw down, right?
I think Vin Diesel needs to come to the WWE and do a guest spot at this point, around it. I mean,
dude, he could compete. I bet he'd be good. I know he's getting old now, but dang.
Hey, if some of these guys can do it, he could definitely do it.
I bet he could.
Listen,
sure.
Sawyer, we appreciate you flying our banner out there at your new job and just in
brother.
general. What's been going on with you this week, Song? Anything?
Well,
another week in paradise. What's up?
Another week in paradise. But been watching some of the current product. Watch SmackDown last night. They actually had a Hell in a Cell match with the title on the line with Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
What confused me a bit because that was supposed to be at the pay-per-view Hell in the Cell. So they didn't explain why it was put on SmackDown last night, but it was entertaining. And as going back to Roman, I think as a performer right now, there isn't a wrestler in any company that can touch him. His mic skill improve, his in-ring skill improve. He's like the one guy that, they actually turned him heel. When Cena was going through his thing, I wonder what it would have been like if the company would have actually let him go heel at that point. Right, if we would have got the same thing as what we're seeing with Roman now.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but it's really working. He's hitting on all cylinders. And it's crazy you say that because I've seen a lot of stuff online about this Hell in a Cell match being moved to Friday. I have not seen it yet. I was watching other wrestling that I needed to catch up on late last night, so I didn't watch SmackDown yet. But yeah, I did hear something about a report or something. I would love to be able to give my source here, but I'm not looking at it right now. I did hear some kind of rumbling about USA Network being really mad that Fox got a Hell in a Cell on their network, and they're not getting one on like Raw's USA. Something to that effect. So I'll be interested to actually read a little bit more into it and get a better understanding.
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
But I mean, it makes you wonder, like, what are they saving for tomorrow, right? Because today's this is June 19th. It's June 19th today that we're recording this, and Hell in a Cell is tomorrow, right? So
yes.
Yep. So yeah, exactly. So we'll be watching that tomorrow to see how that happens. But it begs to question, what do they have planned that's going to take that chunk of time that Hell in a Cell match was going to originally be? Is it going to further the whole Usos storyline as it relates to their brother? What's the new wrinkle they're putting into it? We'll have to wait and see, I guess. So yeah.
What culture doesn't mince words on it? They say U.S. Network pissed at WWE over SmackDown Hell in a Cell. You gotta love what culture.
Oh man, what culture is awesome. Love what culture.
So the 12th was my birthday, and so because of that, I'm actually sipping on some really delicious whiskey today that was provided by Song. It was gifted to me by my buddy Song here from a local distillery, Three Crosses, and it is super delicious. So I say that to say
shout out to Three Cross. in
Yeah,
Powhatan,
absolutely.
Virginia.
Some free advertisement. We should next time we're there, hit us up with some whiskey.
Yeah, right. Any
But
whiskey that's sold after this, you can't assume it's because we didn't advertise.
But you guys probably already know how I spent the 11th, the night before my birthday. The week before, actually, I should say, we had a bat in the house, and
Oh yeah.
and so a bat in the house on Monday led to us getting shots for our cats on Friday, which led to the vet saying, "Why aren't you getting shots for yourself? Because rabies will kill the hell out of you, and there's no solving it. Like if you get it, you're pretty much fucked. It's like she starts explaining, it's like turned into a zombie. I've never, I guess I'm just completely ignorant.
Yeah. She's like, aren't you worried about vampirism?
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's like, aren't you worried? You're like, you won't be allowed in people's house unless they invite you in.
Yeah, invited into the house.
But I was like, I'll just be pissed because I won't be able to eat garlic anymore. I love that shit. But anyway, they scared the shit out of us. So we go to Swift Creek ER, which is super fast. Another shout out to the hospital at Swift Creek, because we were going to a different ER and they were like, no, this place is packed. They were like, go to Swift Creek. They got us in and out of there. But so I spent the 11th getting like 4 needles poked in me. Pui got like 4 needles poked in her, like immunoglobulin and all that. And then we had to go back like 3 additional times. We had to go back yesterday, and then we have to go back again this coming Friday. It's just been like insane. And just because maybe we got bit by it. Maybe we came in contact. We don't even know for sure.
And you have no bat powers yet? No
Nothing
sonar,
yet. Nothing yet.
No.
I don't even feel smarter. I don't even feel smarter.
Yeah. No bloodlust.
That's how it works. You get bit and you turn into like a Spider-Man.
None of the cool shit. Just a bunch of a very expensive bill.
Yeah.
So in that way, I feel like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Because they're billing me like I'm.
You got the wrong bat powers.
Yeah. So anyway, that was fucking hilarious to spend my birthday like that. But anyway, what's awesome is that 3 crosses is what I'll be toasting to today. And today I wanted to toast to first say Happy Father's Day song.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day to you too.
So, but yeah, and I want to say Happy Father's Day to any of our listeners who are fathers and our own fathers. All of our own fathers here on the show, Kyle's dad too. Happy Father's Day to everyone. And we also
Bob Bartlett, my father.
Yeah, Rob Bartlett, your dad. And we also want to take a moment to recognize that today is June 19th. It's Juneteenth. And just want to say happy Juneteenth to everyone. So toast.
It's officially a federal holiday now.
Yeah, to it being a federal holiday. This is the right way. We're for all the things we get wrong, here's something that we're getting right. Right. So just want to raise a glass to that and say cheers. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth. Cheers from Penn.
Cheers, brother.
All right. So should we go ahead at this point and get into the next episode of Raw? Should we hop in those time machines and start discussing the episode then?
Sure.
88
Jump
miles
into
an hour.
DeLorean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, we've done good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're hopping right back in our DeLorean and we're going back to March 1st, 1993. This Raw starts off a little bit differently. We usually get like the announce team, but this time we see like the camera panning in on the ring. It starts off with the music of the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. My guy,
Your guy.
Bret the Hitman Hart. Yes, absolutely. So at this point, we realize we're getting a world title match, which is an awesome way to start off Monday Night Raw. And it's going to be Bret the Hitman Hart versus Fatu of the Head Shrinkers with Afa. So, I mean, as far as this match goes, to me, you can always count on a Bret Hart match to deliver. You know, I mean, like compared to some of the stuff they're doing in NXT now, it's still a little, felt a little slow. But I always enjoy watching my dude Bret,
Yeah, it was a competitive match, more competitive than I think it had any right to be.
Yeah.
You're taking the world champion against a tag team specialist.
Right?
But this is is this the first time we get that twin magic in wrestling where they swap out one person for the other?
I'm pretty sure that if we look back through the history of wrestling, it's probably been done before. It's probably a really old trope, and it's been done, but it might be the first time on Raw.
Yeah,
I would definitely say.
Oh, definitely Raw.
I think it was definitely the first time on Raw since we've been watching, and maybe even the first time in a long time in the WWE. You know, during this match, I think Bret, he had an uphill battle against Fatu, Alpha, and even eventually Fatu.
It was about a 3-on-1 at one point.
Yep.
Because
about halfway through, Samu comes down. He gets involved. Another thing that was cool about it is you know, it's always kind of cool to see a little red. Bret gets busted open. Adds a little drama to the match.
Well, he came out. His
color
nose
for
was
those
already,
listening at home.
Nice.
We've come
You
full
learned
circle.
something. Awesome.
Yeah, you'll be proud. When I was watching it, I was like, oh, he's got a little bit of color. And I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, he came out. His nose was already bruised. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of odd placement because I did think it was a very strong match, but it was very odd. I thought that they jumped right into it, no introduction, and then it still had as much back and forth as it did. Like, didn't it seem odd for the very first match of like a Raw? Maybe it's just I haven't watched in a minute, but
it's probably because the last episode we watched, the main event, ran out of time.
Yeah, it was really crazy. Yeah, there's been a couple of episodes that we've the last couple episodes we've reviewed have had some weirdness to it.
Okay.
And I think maybe this is Vince saying, hey, we need to kick off this show with some action, some stuff right out of the gate to catch people's eyes so they don't tune out within the first 15 minutes.
Okay. I was gonna say it seemed like he sandwiched the two big headliners. Yeah. Okay, very, very cool. But it was great. I thought it was a great back and forth and everything. You give Bret that nice superhero moment where he, like he said, he takes down all three and just a couple of kicks and then fucking takes it, man. No, I thought it was a great opener, at least. I will say that.
Let me ask you guys, when you saw, like, I think it was Fatu, did Fatu perform a pile driver on Bret, or was it the other way around? But did it look like, because we don't see pile drivers so much anymore in wrestling, did it almost shock you guys when you saw it? Because it did for me. I was like, whoa, it was
was shocking to me to see it because it's illegal now in the Federation. And before, it just takes me back to, like, the pile driver used to be a pretty common move, not even used to finish people. It was just part of people's moveset. And it was Fatu on Bret, and it didn't get the 3. So. Yeah.
See, this shows where my knowledge stems from, or my familiarity. I didn't even know pile drivers were gone. And now that you mention it, I was like, oh, I haven't seen one in a while. But I think to me, where I'm like, oh, I'm used to seeing these. So that's why it's on par. But that's interesting to know.
Yeah, they don't let them happen so much. And it just, I think during the 90s, they were just there was some different matches where
it was Steve Austin was probably the
most famous
straw,
most famously when unfortunately a great wrestler like Owen Hart, it just goes to show you, as great as Owen Hart is, you know, everybody speaks great stuff about what a great in-ring worker he was, but even him, he can mess up, and it happened in such a high profile way that it affected Steve Austin and the rest of his career. So I think that's a big reason that the pile driver went away. You see that happen from time to time in the WWE. A move will go wrong one too many times, and you won't see that move anymore for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's that part of it that's like, at the end of the day, it is still like a show from a safety point. So it's like, if it's gonna hurt people more than not, you gotta ditch it. These dudes aren't immortal.
The regular pile driver is so much more dangerous to perform than the tombstone pile driver.
Right,
you have full control with the tombstone pile driver.
Yeah, you're holding their middle.
Yeah, and then their neck is between your legs, so they're not even hitting the mat. For one, it's so much safer to do.
This another thing about this match that that really was cool to kind of, in a nostalgic way, was getting to see the head shrinkers again for me, and to see, you know, now with like Roman Reigns and this generation, they're all related, and it just goes back to what a integral part the Samoan dynasty was and is to the WWE. They all got all of their stuff in. They got their bites, their heel stuff, their chokes, the flying headbutts. The tide turned in this match when Bret hit Fatu with a superplex. He goes for the sharpshooter, but Alpha distracts the ref long enough for the head shrinkers to do the old switcheroo, like you were saying. You get that that whole thing where they're such similar looking wrestlers, they switch right in, and the ref, supposedly never even knows the switch happens.
That's the funny thing is, like, it doesn't work with these two, like, at all. Like, I think even Elvis at one point calls it out. He's clearly a different guy. You can hear him ruining the bit, and it also just driving Vince nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like he's not wrong at all.
Yeah. Another cool thing was when Samu got his neck caught in the rope, kind of a la Mick Foley. That whole thing where he gets caught during the end of the match, and I thought that was a really cool moment as well. And at that moment, that allowed Bret enough time to roll other dude up, Samu, and get the win with a sharpshooter, right? So
no, he rolled Fatu up with the sharpshooter, right? Not Samu.
Yeah, Fatu, because that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because the match was Fatu versus Samu, but it would have been cool if he had rolled up the wrong guy and got the win after they tried to screw him over.
Yeah,
they should have done that.
They should have gone that route. That's why we should write for the WWF.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're gonna get hired one day.
I mean, why not? What
And let's not forget for a moment here that Fatu is Rikishi, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking up kind of who's who, because me, I was like, this early in the game, it's never the same person.
He's the father of the Uso, right? He's the father of the Uso.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Don't. Oh my God, I'm a bad wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm bad with family dynamics anyway.
It's a hard family tree to keep track of. All you need to know is like they're all related to The Rock.
Dude, I know one thing. When you see the tree, it makes no sense. Wikipedia has the Samoan family tree up, and I looked through it, and I couldn't make heads or tails of how they're related.
Do you think it's a shoot tree or a kayfabe tree? Or do you think it's part shoot, part kayfabe?
Yeah, a little column A, a little column B.
Yeah, column A, column B,
Cool.
Hell, if I were somebody's brother-in-law's cousin's whatever roommate, I'd be like, yeah, I'm related to The Rock. Like, let me in too. If you wanted to wrestle.
And
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's great. That's fine. Speaking of family tree thing, of course, we go back to Bartlett, Elvis Bartlett, this episode. Your dad.
Oh my God.
Distracting to say the least this episode, and we'll probably talk about him more than once throughout this episode here. And but
what is your dad doing, man?
I've got a whole roster of Bartlett bits from the episode. I may not have gotten all of them, but I got them on lock.
Well, I do want to point out that I feel like that Vince was very much into this. I feel like there's been some episodes where Vince seemed fed up, right?
Vince, I feel like, gave him something. This is where you see the common ground between the two of them. Vince gave him something to do, and because this is the kind of comedian Bartlett is, I actually thought I was like, they should have had Bartlett show up as a really bad impersonator every episode, and I think it would have been the perfect shtick for him.
Well, I think they probably picked Elvis for this one because they were hyping Mania in Vegas. So like here,
there's a very poorly executed segue because Bartlett's riffing.
Yeah,
because he asked him where he's what place do you call home?
Yeah,
and he's like, I live in a trailer park now, and it's and Vince is like, well, I don't know about that, but I believe, and like Macho Man has to come in and like tie it back around to Vegas so they can be like, and we got WrestleMania in Vegas. That was gold.
And that's a good segue into the WrestleMania report that we got, where Mean Gene, he ran down the current lot of matches. He rattled off Beefcake and Barber versus Money Inc. was already set. Taker versus Gonzalez, Tatanka versus Michaels, the narcissist Luger versus Mr. Perfect, and of course the main event, Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. At this time, things got really weird for a second when Mean Gene hits up Macho Man to ask if Joey Buttafuoco made his colorful outfit. At this point, Macho says that if Amy Fisher met him first, none of this would have ever happened, which is really kind of jacked up if you know like the whole story.
Can either of you guys explain to me what that bit was about? That went over my head. I didn't get the reference to Buttafuoco and Amy Fisher and all that with Macho Man at all.
Well, I'm not really sure exactly how deep it goes, but of course, Joey Buttafuoco's wife got shot by Amy Fisher, who was a minor at the time, who was having an affair with Joey Buttafuoco.
Yeah. Well, that was the funny thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this is another episode where there's so many very specifically dated things. If you had to guess like when it took place, you could probably get a ballpark because you got Fat Elvis abducted by alien jokes, and then you've got Joey Buttafuoco.
Right.
I just love that Gene delivers this bizarre zinger, and it was almost like Gene came up with it, and he's like, Vince, I have a joke I'd like to tell in this episode if you don't mind.
Like, you have my blessing.
Yeah, and Macho Man being like, I don't really feel like this is a solid burn, but I like you, Gene, so you make me laugh. Like,
either that or he's gonna go beat him up in the back.
Yeah, it was a very strange but weirdly beautiful moment.
Another little weird segment where we go to Kona Crush all the way in Hawaii. Crush says it's miserable in Hawaii, 75 degrees, and he absolutely looked miserable too. It looked like super windy there. Yeah. Shaka bra.
Shaka bra.
Yeah. Vince asked Crush to predict his match, Crush versus Doink at WrestleMania, which I think is a weird thing to do anyway. Like, what's he going to do? He's like, I think Doink might get me.
Yeah.
But of course, this is just a setup. Crush. Do you think it was a gimmicked coconut, or do you think it was a legit?
I was wondering.
It's a gimmick coconut. It's a gimmick coconut.
Okay.
The way it held together afterward just did not seem like I'm not going to rule out that maybe he couldn't crush a coconut, but the way it broke and then still kind of held together, it's like this.
It's
the real coconut.
I mean, we were talking like earlier, Jeremiah, how bad his finisher is.
Yeah.
So that had to.
But you get a classic zinger from quote unquote Elvis. Got to be a better way to make a pina colada.
If there's anybody out there who's hearing this, Song does want to issue you a challenge that if you can indeed crush a coconut with your hands. I don't know if Kona Crush is actually. This is bad. You have the internet pulled up in front of you right now, right? It's not like I don't either.
You get
but I also feel bad. Crush is still with us, right?
Oh, I think
if Crush is still with us, we could just.
I'm literally googling right now.
Challenge directly to Crush.
Crush WE Live. You have to ask these questions.
Yeah, exactly, because it's like the fact of
the shit, looked like he passed away in 2007.
Yeah, man.
You were speaking ill of the dead, Song. How do you feel now? No, just kidding.
I mean, not something I haven't done before.
Right, I know. What, crush a coconut with your hands?
No, speak ill of the dead. I think just because you're dead don't make you off limit to criticism.
That's
right. Funny. I didn't realize his name was Brian Adams.
Especially, yeah. Yeah, I used to get confused too. I was like, is he the same guy that sang like everything I did?
Well, and the recent photo they have of him kind of makes him look like the singer. So part of me is like, wait a second.
They had the same awesome mullet.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. But anyway,
he was only 43 when he died. Wow.
I'm not ruling it out.
That's really young.
Yeah. But the issue's still out there, though, man. If any of you guys can crush a coconut with your bare hands, I want you to prove Song wrong. Otherwise,
yeah, post it on our Twitter, post it on our Facebook, videotape it.
Don't try to gimmick it either.
Yeah, we can
post,
tell if
post on Instagram
coconut.
And tag us, tag Pin the Champ.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Or all three of us should try to crush a coconut and post it.
Okay, I'm down. I'll do it.
We'll give it a shot.
It's gonna be really
out.
boring. It's gonna be really. It's gonna be us just like with our veins. Yep.
Constipated there, Sawyer?
Yeah, I'm not too confident how it's gonna turn out yet. I'll do a Popeye move. I'll eat some spinach and we'll see how it turns out.
I'm not gonna do a live video because I just don't know how it'll turn out. But I might.
Yeah.
So next we get Doink versus Koko Beware. Doink has a present with him when he comes down. He's walking down to the aisle. He's teasing, giving it to fans, but of course he never does because he's a mean clown, and that's his gimmick.
Right.
I also love no one's fallen for that. They're like, there's definitely something unpleasant in that present.
Yeah, is this a predecessor to Dick in the Box?
Yeah, maybe. But there's a lot of women that are like, nope, get that thing away from me. I don't know what you have in there.
This is a pretty quick match. Doink won with us called the Stump Puller.
That was a funny looking submission hold.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, he like put his arms behind him so that the torque from the leg being pulled up kind of would probably strain his back. It looked like it would feel good until it hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
Like something a chiropractor would do.
Yeah. You know, Koko Ware was in a tag team called High Energy at one point, but during this match, he definitely did not seem very high energy. He did not seem like the Koko Ware of old. When I remember, like when he was coming down to the ring, he wasn't even like clapping like he usually does.
Or flapping his wings or nothing. There was no energy at all from him.
He was like,
do you think even he knew it was kind of bullshit?
Well, he found out it was being jobbed to a clown, and then this is where Kai will tell us that Matt Bourne's a shitty person. So I'll just jump in and say it here.
I was gonna say there may be some emotional baggage where if I were Koko, big yep, and I'm being wasted again. Like
right.
And at this point, Weird Bartlett turns into Weird Gross Bartlett when he interviews Doink the Clown. And,
no subtlety. I love there is zero subtlety in like what they're building up. Like it's not even like they had Bartlett quietly go over there and be standing there when he shows up. He's like, time for me to pretty much go over here now.
Yeah, he's like, I'll be going here now.
I'm hungry. Like, Jesus.
Anyone have any milk?
Yeah. I wonder what this clown who I have to meet. Although I will say Bartlett does seem to be a ride or die Doink fan. I think he's the only person I've ever met that seems like they're ride or die Doink.
Yeah, he's always got questions about him. He's always got.
He's loved him since day one, literally.
Right.
Was he the one that pointed him out up in the rafters? Probably.
Oh, yeah. Because he got it wrong, but Vince didn't know well enough to correct him, but he knew Bartlett was wrong.
Next up, we get another interview segment, right? It's conducted by Vince McMahon himself. Money Inc. is back out. By the way, they're carrying over their shoulders the best version of the tag team titles that ever existed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Those are the coolest looking titles. They need to bring those back.
They really are.
How about the whole case, though?
The IRS case?
Yeah.
With Hogan's face on it.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome, too. Yeah, absolutely. I'm down with that. They could put that on the Money in the Bank this year.
I was invested, too, because he brought up my boy Beefcake, and he was going after it. And I literally was like, you leave Beefcake alone. He's been through enough.
Yeah, so DiBiase runs through saying he's read about James Robinson in the paper, former chief executive of American Express, and he said that they only want to give him like $750,000 a year salary and like $1.1 million severance package. DiBiase says that this is a slap in the face. He also talks about the $3 million no-compete check being chump change. And that's when he switches gears and he starts cutting a promo on Hogan and your boy Beefcake. He says Hogan's been making movies and commercials in Hollywood for so long and he's soft now, and which I agree. And IRS says he gave Beefcake a wake-up call with his briefcase because he's a compassionate man. He then shows the briefcase off, as he calls it, with Hogan's picture on it, like you said, Sawyer. And DiBiase asks the crowd if they should put the titles on the line, and the crowd goes wild. They say, yeah. So at this point, DiBiase confirms that the titles are going to be on the line at WrestleMania 9. So, yeah, there's that segment. And what we know now is one hell of a debacle at WrestleMania 9. But, yeah.
Don't spoil anything. We still have to watch it.
I'm trying not to, man, but it involves it's heartbreaking to me because it involves my guy. Anyway.
Well, have you guys watched any current NXT? $1 Million Man is kind of back on the show.
Yes.
It's what they're doing with Cameron Grimes and Eli Drake. Not Eli Drake.
LA
Knight. I think it's been pretty cool. And they brought back one of the best looking title ever, the $1 million belt.
Yeah.
So have you seen it yet?
I have not. So it's going.
That belt is back on TV now, man. It's
check
awesome.
out some recent NXT, like the most recent NXT takeover has the that's all you need to do is watch the most recent NXT takeover, watch that match because it'll
the ladder match.
Watch before it because you know they're going to break down the whole feud right before.
Oh yeah. Well, and I love a ladder match. You can always
dude. I think having DiBiase as a manager for Cameron Grimes is genius.
Oh, really?
It will work. I hope that's where they're going with that. Because Cameron Grimes, he's kind of growing on me now. He's his whole get rich off a GameStop gimmick to the
That's
moon.
pretty cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I've loved that whole angle as well. It has been fun to watch, actually.
I wish they would do
checking
that
it
with more vets too. Is like make them
Yeah,
have these managerial roles, and then because then you could have them take a bump every now and then if they want to. But then
Ooh,
it's like
he
you
took
don't
a
have
bump.
to.
out. Oh, he took a hell of a bump.
Took the bump.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
DiBiase took a bump. Yeah.
He took a respectable bump.
Nice.
You should check it out, so you'll like it.
It's got everything I want to hear, so I'm down.
So we sold you on wrestling.
Yes,
Awesome.
It took me a minute, but I'm here now.
After that, we get the first squash match of the night. Well, not really, because the Koko match was a squash match, but we get the first actual jobber match. It's Lex Luger versus PJ Walker.
PJ Walker.
This was a very short match that felt very long. Luger won with a pinky pin after the bionic elbow. They cut to Bartlett at one point, who's whipped cream filled and still doing the Elvis gimmick. At this point, they teleconference the greatest manager of all time, Bobby Heenan, on, and Heenan accuses Rob Bartlett of being George Steinbrenner. He puts a lady on saying she's Priscilla Presley on to confirm that Bartlett is indeed not Elvis Presley. At this point, Luger rolls Walker out of the ring and looks into the camera saying PJ Walker has the face of a beagle. He's a small, frail, ectomorph frame with pale skin, and it makes him sick. So this is like the predecessor to actually LA Knight's incel comments. Like you know how LA Knight's always calling people incels. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, one PJ Walker becomes just incredible later in ECW.
That's
so
awesome,
he actually went on to have a pretty good run in ECW. He was the world champion for 5 months. So
that's awesome.
That's a solid name too. Just incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
I love when the pun works, when it's not like too corny, but you're like, come on.
And he formed a really fun tag team in the old ECW days with Lance Storm.
Yeah,
this is stuff that I need to look up because this is the time that I was away.
Yeah, man. That's what I've been loving, going back, looking at these old Raw shows and seeing like people that I know in different companies who, he's a enhanced talent here, but he actually went on and made something of himself. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. So when I saw him, I was like, holy shit, that's just incredible with hair.
Yeah, this is actually the same as the next jobbers match. There's some jobbers in there that actually went on to fame as well.
You have to fill me in on that.
We get Steiner brothers versus Duane Gill and Barry Hardy, and Duane Gill, of course, Gilbert.
Right, but it's not fair to call the Steiner brothers jobbers, though.
No. Well, I'm not calling.
That's good.
I stand by that fact. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna get fucking Rick Steiner will come to my house. He's crazy as shit. But yeah, no, Duane Gill is Gilbert, right? So, and then of course Barry Hardy, he was like the second iteration of the Executioners. He was Executioner.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yep, and this ended up being our main event because it was the last match of the night. We get Steiner brothers versus Duane Gill and Barry Hardy. The crowd, of course, is as usual really hyped for the Steiner brothers. Paint by number Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
A lot of
it's hard for me to get hyped with the Steiner brother. We talked about this before. Their entrance music is just garbage, man.
Yeah, that music does suck. And in the WWE, they were very, very, very baby face.
Yeah,
they had no depth to them too much, right?
No, none at all. They were vanilla.
Yeah, but their talent was out of this world. I mean, they, as far as their talent in the ring, they had it all. Like Duane Gill got some air off of that Rick Steiner back body drop, like mid-match. Scott Steiner hits the Frankensteiner on the future Gilbert for the win.
Frankensteiner is cool though. I mean, especially like he's just doing it. He whipped him off the rope, hopped up, and did it. That was really cool. For a big guy to pull off that move is insane.
Yeah, Frankensteiner's always been a great move. Also, Barry Hardy is from Richmond, Virginia. I did not know that until I saw.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So, Barry, if you're out there, what's up?
I know. Come on the show. I feel
like
like both of them have come up a number of times too throughout the show. Like I feel like we've had like a surprising amount of coverage. At least Duane Gill, I know we've definitely talked about from time to time.
Definitely. But I think Barry Hardy, according to Wikipedia, is now in Daytona Beach. If anybody wants to go hit him up down there. I'm just kidding.
I don't mind going to Daytona right now.
Someone's got the cash. I'm there.
Yeah. I'm vaccinated. I can go wherever I want.
Right.
Even Florida.
Even Florida.
Even Florida. But yeah, so after this match, after the main event, we go back to the announce team before the show closes. Vince, honestly, like I was saying before, he seems so tickled by Rob Bartlett as Sticky Elvis. At this point, Vince announces that next week it's going to be Money Incorporated versus El Matador, Tito Santana, and ex-DiBiase bodyguard Virgil. And also it's going to be Mr. Perfect versus the model Rick Martel, which that match has the potential to really steal the show because both of those guys are awesome, awesome talents, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Great.
No, I was excited about that next lineup, not going to lie. I was like, there's some great matches.
Yeah. Guys, what was your highlight of the night? What would you say?
It had to be the first match. It was a match that fully told a story, had its beginning, middle, and end, had some heelish antics with the head shrinker, and the hero prevail. So that's my highlight. Oh,
yeah. No, I think the only thing where it fell short was the fact that it was really truly the first one out of the gate.
Right.
Because I think it was so strong. And where I think about where we left off, you had a lot of true headlining Bret Hart matches. I mean, he's clearly been the mainstay, regardless. But it was just also surprising because at least I think they would have it maybe second to last or wherever it would fall in there.
Right.
I mean, I think there was a lot of good stuff. I think everything after it also just felt so rushed. Like it just didn't feel like there was enough things that really breathed or had moments.
A good amount of the hour with that first match. And I think that's probably why they put it first. They didn't want that match to run out of time at all.
Yeah, and it's true because I think it would have sold it short. But it was just like, you should have at least like a second match that's going to be just as strong or if not kind of the warm up for it or somewhere fallen. I mean, again, I think maybe you could have just done more with Koko, Beware, and Doink, and it might have been better too. Like,
less of a squash match there.
Koko
can do so much, but I can't disagree with you, Song. I mean, you've got to call that Bret Hart versus Fatu the highlight. For me, I'd say specifically the highlight of the match because I've watched countless, Bret Hart matches over time. I would say was seeing the head shrinkers do their thing and heal it up. I think that was really cool to get to go back and see them in a nostalgic capacity. So I think that would be my favorite part of that show.
No, ditto. I'd say the runner-up is the Elvis bit, really.
That's
oddly enough, when Bartlett's your second best thing, I don't know what to tell you.
I gotta disagree there. I don't know. I think it feels like that was his punishment for like not listening to McMahon. Now he does.
Just like Elvis.
But I think it's to him, it's still a win. Like he doesn't even realize he's in trouble.
He doesn't.
It's like the kid that has fun in detention still, where you're like, you're not supposed to be enjoying this.
Right.
But I didn't really think about it until you guys both mentioned it. But literally, like looking at the page, like our show outline, this is a Monday Night Raw that seems like it should have been flipped. Like it should have been those two jobber matches first, leading up to the world title match. But at least
the WWE is known for having bad time management skills. So I know they've been in trouble with a lot of network because they have the tendency to run over before. Maybe here they try to keep it within their hours that they were given.
I think you probably even you could have maybe cut it down to 2 whole matches, and like run those a little, like have those really go into it, or maybe stretch some of the other ones a bit longer out. I don't know. Because it wasn't a bad episode, but
no, it wasn't. But hindsight 2020, they probably went back and be like, you know what, we did have time to put this on last.
Yeah, all weird because you could have wrapped up those other ones at any time. But
exactly
enough. Well, while I was doing a little bit of research for the episode, when you're looking up anything on the internet these days, there's going to be ads and things that pop right up there for you. And
I know I get so many OnlyFans ads, it's insane. I don't know what it is on my computer.
You're just pushing your brand.
That's right.
How much are you making off of that monthly anyway?
$10 a month.
Not enough to go to Daytona.
You're in the negative.
Yeah, I'm paying people to watch me now.
To watch you do it.
Well, something you can at least enjoy for free, so you don't have to worry about spending any money here, is The ESPY Awards actually is a major focus on the WWE this year, and I was very surprised. I honestly thought it might be maybe even just like 1 or 2 categories, but there's about 8 different match moments that they want you to kind of pick as your favorite here. So I thought it might be cool if we kind of picked our favorites amongst these.
So you want to run through them for us?
Yeah, so we got 8 matches here total, and there's 2 categories for each, 2 options really here. So you got your first one, you got Dominic Mysterio makes his in-ring debut at SummerSlam with his father Rey Mysterio in his corner. And of course, there's Roman Reigns returns to SmackDown and aligns with Paul Heyman. Jeremiah, you're the host, man. What's your first pick of those 2?
I mean, both are really cool moments and everything, but especially in light of like how I know the story is at this moment, how it's turning out now, is I feel like the Mysterio kind of angle is kind of getting stale to me. Like I actually kind of want Dominic to turn on his dad.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be freaking awesome if they did some kind of great angle like that. I think he should definitely turn on him. So I got to go with Roman, because at this moment Roman's like hitting on all cylinders, and that is largely in part to his heel turn in alignment with Paul Heyman has set up pretty much the best thing that's going on, in the WWE right now, which is Roman and Heyman together and that whole storyline. So I'll go with that.
Nice.
So much
Dominic, his first pay-per-view match, his first wrestling match was against Seth freaking Rollins. I mean, imagine that. That's just like baptism by fire right there. Not much, he didn't get to fight Goldberg at all. He went straight to like one of their top guys. So that's pretty cool. But saying all that, anything involving Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns right now, how do you pick against that? So yeah, it's Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman for me too.
I'm going to round that out. What's that?
What say you?
What say you?
Yeah, I'm going to round that out for the same thing, because this one, I'm not going to lie, is still kind of a Sophie's choice, because you hate to vote against Rey Mysterio and his son, and I think there is a nice, beautiful story. But for the same reason you said, where that's kind of running stale, Roman Reigns turned it around, and then
it's going to be beautiful when Ray smacks, when Dom smacks Ray in the back of the head with something. That's going to be the most beautiful thing.
Hell yeah, I'd be all about that. But yeah, the Roman Reigns thing, Paul Heyman, again, shout out to my boy Avery at work. Like it's going so strong, and it's a nice win for both of them. Like it's a copacetic like relationship there. So, but cool. All right, number 2, we got Paul McAfee. Did I say that right? Is it McAfee?
Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee. Pat. Did I say Paul? Man, it's hit me now.
Don't worry, I just went through puberty when I said McAfee.
Yeah. All right, but it's when he confronts and punts Adam Cole, or Goldberg returns to challenge Drew McIntyre for WWE Championship. I have a feeling I know what everyone's pick might be, but I'm willing to hear. We'll start with you on this one, Song. What you got?
Well, we all know my feeling about Goldberg coming back. So I'll go with you need antivirus protection. So I'm going to go with McAfee. But no, saying all that, all jokes aside though, Pat McAfee is an announcer for SmackDown right now. Yeah. Pat McAfee was a punter in the NFL. Pat McAfee worked his ass off in that program with the Undisputed Era. I'm not going to go against that. Yeah, and he worked his ass off. He elevated the talent that he was in there with. He was hanging with some like really, really good wrestler, and he held his own. It was a great war game. That's probably one of the best war games I've seen in a while. So with that said, it's Pat McAfee.
Perfect. What you got, Jeremiah?
So I do want to say that if I recall correctly, and I could be just getting so old that I'm senile, but if I recall, the outcome of the Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg thing was that Drew retained and defeated Goldberg. Yeah. So I do want to say that for the first time, the right thing happened. Drew got the rub here off of Goldberg. Goldberg didn't come back and defeat The Fiend, but I still feel the same way as you, Song. Nothing with Goldberg coming back in it is really going to captivate me, while everything you said was absolutely spot on about McAfee coming back. I might as well not say anything else, because that's exactly how I feel. Was he did great in that match. That's the better moment. But I do want to say that it was awesome that Drew got a win over Goldberg.
Agree.
For me, You could have put anything in that category against Goldberg and Drew McIntyre, and I would have picked it. And you know me, I love Drew.
You
Drew.
do
He
love
got me
Drew.
my first Royal
That's
Rumble
your
pick
dude.
win. So
Drew
he's
is
in a
your
special
dude.
place in my heart.
Mhm.
And he is an awesome, talented, giant wrestler of a human being. But the first time it wasn't all that exciting, and the second time it was just like cool, like again. So that's where my feelings lie on the matter.
Right.
All right, cool. Number 3, we got Keith Lee breaks Adam Cole's record, 403-day reigns as NXT champion at the Great American Bash. Or Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair become the first Black women to battle in a WrestleMania main event. I'm pretty sure I know everyone's answer on this one too, but we'll start with you on this one, Jeremiah. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, I know this. I mean, I guess it's not going to be the same for everyone, but it is a pretty predictable thing. I think you know what it would be, and it's. I mean, you can't beat the fact that they're African American ladies headlining WrestleMania. It's awesome that Keith Lee also broke that reign and became NXT champion as well, but there is no bigger stage than WrestleMania. So by that fact alone, and the emotion behind that match at the beginning, during, and at the end of the match alone makes that the moment.
Song, who would you pick here as yours between the two, the Sasha Banks and Bianca at WrestleMania, or Keith Lee breaking Adam Cole's 403-day reign?
You see, for me, this is a little bit tougher than it really should be because, 403 days, that's a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And Adam Cole is probably arguably the best NXT champion ever, in my opinion. I mean, you got Finn Balor, who's the only 2-time, but wait, Joe is 2-time also, so going back there. But yeah, and then he also, when he won that, Keith Lee was also double champion because he was currently the North American champion when that match happened. So there's that. And then there's WrestleMania, though. And then the same thing we say about Roman Reigns now, I can say about Sasha Banks during her title run with the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's tough, but at the end of the day, WrestleMania will always trump. A match at WrestleMania is going to trump any other pay-per-view match. So I got to go Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair.
Yeah, I mean, it's designed to set up to be like, like the grand finale, or at least kind of like the closing, the year in some respects. So, it is. I also, too, because I legit talk about her as one of my favorite wrestlers. I mean, how sometimes you just see people, you watch them perform for the first time and you're like, I like this one. Like, this one's mine. I'm rooting for him every time. Bianca Belair is my girl. I think it was a very early pay-per-view we were watching. It was when we had just first met Jeremiah, and he had us over at the house. And I just remember being she is dope. I was like, I don't know who this girl is, but she is unbelievably talented. She's earned everything she's gotten. And again, it doesn't matter what the other category is because it's coming out on top. So I love Sasha Banks, but Bianca, she is the EST.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely agree. Well spoken.
So we got number 4. Edge wins 2021 Men's Royal Rumble and becomes the third person to ever win from the number 1 spot. Or Kevin Owens stuns Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Whew, kind of a Sophie's choice on that one, too. I'm not going to lie. That is a tricky one. I guess we'll start with Song on this one. Who would you pick?
Okay, for me, this is pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I said about Pat McAfee, I can't say about Logan Paul being in the ring.
You said you cannot, right?
I cannot.
Okay,
so,
just making sure. Okay.
Right, and then Ed's coming back from a year hiatus after he just came back from a 10-year hiatus to win the Royal Rumble. That's a big deal. So I'll go with Edge winning the Rumble at the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to speak from the heart on that one too, because that one's close to mine again. Because I know at the risk of being biased, it was a Royal Rumble pick for me. I love it, but Edge's story is so fucking good. And he still sells a strong match on that. Cool. But
I picked the same thing because Edge is a Pearl Jam fan.
Yeah, that's cool too.
That's all it was.
That's all it was.
That being said, who doesn't love KO? Fucking doing
right? No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't go wrong.
KO is my dude too.
Right. You know what? I mean, KO is fantastic, but come on, man, it's fucking Logan Paul, man. Get off my TV.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need that.
We don't even need mention of him, even if it is him.
Yeah, this category to me was the most imbalanced out of the ones that you've said so far.
I agree.
Because to me, Edge's story of never thinking you're going to wrestle again to coming back, getting injured again and coming back, just like Song said. There's no comparison.
It's not fair to make KO a jobber in this situation, frankly.
Yeah. KO's gonna has stunned so many people already excellently, and will stun so many other people excellently that he'll have his moment again.
Oh, definitely. All right, we got 5. Number 5 out of 8. We're still almost there. Sasha Banks wins the SmackDown Women's Champion at Hell in a Cell, or Randy Orton sets The Fiend on fire at TLC. Jeremiah, which would you pick between those two?
So I know that it was Randy Orton sets The Fiend on fire, and you said it was Sasha winning the title. That was from Bailey, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes, I believe.
Yes.
Right. So simply put, with this one, I will say, I'll go for the most shocking moment here, which is going to be the Fiend getting caught on fire. It was an awesome moment when Sasha won the belt from Bailey at Hell in a Cell. But to be honest with you, when you first said it, I had to think, who was it she won it from?
Yeah, I did confirm it. It was Bailey. It was
right. But that's what I'm saying is I had to think for a minute about that. Whereas with Randy Orton versus the Fiend, even though like I can't, where's the Fiend now? Like, what's going on with the Fiend now? Where it's gone to, it's really materialized into nothing. But that moment was pretty cool. I didn't like what they did with it, but I'll go for that moment as far as being a moment. It was the bigger moment.
Yeah, very cool. No, very cool. Song, which would you pick between those? Sasha Banks winning the SmackDown Women's Championship at Hell in a Cell, or Randy Orton sets the Fiend on fire at TLC?
For me, I got a bias towards Sasha Banks anyway, so I think it's the Sasha Banks moment. I mean, leading up to the Hell in a Cell match here, they had a year worth of storytelling between her and Bailey. They won tag team title. They were the tag team women's champion together. And then at one point, Sasha wanted to be double champion too, so she won the Raw title, and they were both double champ. And then the turn on each other, and then leading up to the match, there was this thing where like Sasha can't win the big one. She always loses in pay-per-views, or she'll win the title and then just drop it the next day or something like that. So I think that was a big moment for her. So I'll go with Sasha Banks winning the title off Bailey.
Finally, we disagree.
Yeah. Well, you know how much I love Bailey.
You're the
I
tiebreaker.
also know how much I've said that Bailey needs to lose sometimes. So I think I'll go with Sasha and Bailey on that one. Cool. Then we got match number 6. Undertaker celebrates his 30th anniversary and gives his final farewell. Or Bobby Lashley wins WWE Championship for the first time. All right, Jeremiah, which one would you go with here?
I'm wondering how y'all are going to feel about this. I am going to have to go with Bobby Lashley winning the title for the first time. And the reason for that is because while it's possibly take away from anything that The Undertaker has done throughout his long and storied career, I feel like there have been so many times where he has kind of hinted that he hung up the boots, like the Roman match at WrestleMania comes to mind first and foremost. It lessened the impact of what he actually did. And I hate to say that because I love The Undertaker, and I don't even want to disrespect The Undertaker because he's The Undertaker. But for me, like Bobby Lashley winning that title for the first time, he's one of those guys that has been to WWE, been away from WWE. He was like recognized. He kind of got his, you know what I'm saying? He got recognized for the talent that he is away from WWE, came back. And I'll be honest, when he came back, it didn't look like they were going to do anything with him this time either. I would have, like, if you asked me like probably a year and a half or 2 years ago, I would have said he's probably going to end up getting released again because they were doing nothing with him.
Yeah.
You know? They really weren't. You know, they were, I mean, he's had a couple of good things here and there, but the whole Hurt Business thing, really just that alignment with MVP has been golden for him. And I think it's a big deal for him to have finally won the big one. You know what I mean? So I think him getting that moment for the first time was awesome.
Fine. Song, which would you choose between The Undertaker's last ride here or Bobby Lashley winning the WWE Championship?
Total agreement with Jeremiah with like Taker having so many fake retirement situations. You know, it almost feels like when Bret Favre last couple of years with the Packers. I'm not sure if I'm coming back. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if I'm coming back, and then the team just move away from you. At this point, I just feel like maybe the WWF's like, you know what, just stay retired.
Yeah, no, that's accurate because I was a Far fan from way back when, and his whole fake
we don't want Goldberg.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Like they're like, we don't want Goldberg to kill you, like he almost did. And then,
that'd be the you might kill two birds with one stone on that one. No more Goldberg, and Undertaker officially retired.
Yeah, the match should have never happened. But that's being negative. So let's not go there. With all that, a little dark.
I'm totally oblivious because I'm not even a sports fan. I'm just like, I don't know.
I'm not even big on it myself, but it's like I just kind of have my favorites, and that's about it.
But with that said, like Bobby Lashley title win is a big deal. It's a huge deal, given the fact that this company hasn't always treated the black athlete that well.
Right.
I mean, for fuck's sake, they stuck him in the storyline with Rusev and his wife and made him cuckold Rusev.
That's right. That's one of the terrible things he was involved in.
Why would they do that? And then I thought that storyline would have killed his career. And I think, like you said, teaming up with MVP was his saving grace in the WWF. He became more of that monster. I mean, he's a physical specimen and should be portrayed as a monster. That win, that 16-year journey that they described leading up to it, his story is very similar to the one told for Drew McIntyre. And it's a story that will always sell for anybody. So my moment is Bobby Lashley winning it.
They need to use him in more like Goliath like matches, because I know they've had a few of those and they're always his best ones, because they're giants.
If he doesn't get his match that he's wanted with Brock Lesnar for so long after this run, dude, add it to the list of bizarre shit that they never did at WWE that they just didn't capitalize on, even though they could have. And it's probably like, if anybody was working for the WWE ever would listen to this, they'd probably be like, well, you just don't understand the inner workings or whatever. But I don't care, dude. When you have Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan there at the same time, you would let him headline WrestleMania. When you have Bobby Lashley as the world champion and Brock Lesnar on speed dial, you make that match happen at SummerSlam.
You can make them both interesting, honestly. Right.
And then you spin that off of Brock Lesnar and then roll back around to Brock and Roman Reigns with the craziness of Paul Heyman. Which side is he going to be on? It's just like if that doesn't happen. I'm getting off the SB thing. But I'm just saying, it's just added to one of those things. Yeah, you guys are talking about all these great Lashley matches that should be happening with him portrayed as a giant and a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
him and Braun, him and Lesnar, him and any huge dude. Yeah, just that you can get. He
would also benefit from some sort of Heyman run, but not like as a heel. Like keep him as a face. Like he needs his own kind of manager. I feel like to help kind of bump that personality with it, like some sort of, but have him do a strong face run with that. Like don't have him go heel to do it. I just think he needs some sort of manager personality with him, because I do think he is good.
You're talking about who?
With Lashley.
Oh, well, he's got MVP kind of.
That's true. Yeah. I do like MVP, but I think you need someone still with like a little bit of a bigger personality.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
like
just
Heyman specifically.
Yeah, well, like a face man to be there with them, because I'm down. I like that team up because they're both talented folks, but I think
you want to see him make a face turn.
Pretty much. Yeah. Now, honestly, that's where it is. But I think part of the problem is because I think he is a talented wrestler, but I do think he does struggle from what a lot of them do, where there's not necessarily a lot of personality, or at least they haven't developed it. Exactly. Yeah. They just haven't developed it. But either way, I digress as well. Oddly enough, I think I do have to still go with Undertaker. I feel like it is kind of a weird slant here, but I will say this. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He is one of those guys that does transcend wrestling a little bit. He's so well known that even the most casual observer of wrestler, like that was the day on Facebook I knew any of my friends who may have had the slightest connection to wrestling at any point, because you watched like a lot of it. Yes, I do agree. We're like, I thought Undertaker's done this before. We're like, yeah, it's his last ride. And honestly, who knows? He might come back again. It better be against Sting or bust. Yeah, if it's not him and Sting, I don't want to hear it though. Like, don't build it up, don't tease it, don't Disney Plus subvert my expectations here for things you've set up.
Right.
But it was still, I think, like a good moment. And I think to me, that's also something that speaks to me a little bit closer to home. But congrats to Bobby Lashley, because like you guys said, we've even given him a hard time behind the scenes of just he's had to deal with some stupid storylines that who cares.
But I am glad that somebody would pick Undertaker, because I don't want to take away from his legacy. And obviously it is. And it's a lot of the Undertaker thing is circumstance too. Mm-hmm. It was he decided to go out during the pandemic. So it wasn't like a regular match could be had. His last thing was with AJ, which was critically well received, as a
theatrical
match. But if it would have been more spectacular if his farewell wasn't theatrical match and then a mini series. That's a weird way for a wrestler to go out. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. All right, we got the second to last one here. Match number 7. Bayley turns on Sasha Banks, or Bad Bunny teams with Damian Priest at WrestleMania and unveils a Bunny Destroyer. Song, we'll start with you on this one. Which one are you going with?
Well, as much as I love Sasha Banks and anything she does, even in The Mandalorian, I'm going with Bad Bunny here because it was unexpected. I mean, the Canadian Destroyer, Morrison was doing most of the work there, but the fact that he was able to execute without injuring anybody was, a testament to itself. And then he went in there and, I praised Pat McAfee and what he did, and everything I said about McAfee applies to Bad Bunny here. So my pick is Bad Bunny at WrestleMania.
Rock on. I respect that. Jeremiah, what do you got for your choice here?
So the first thing was what again?
Bayley turning on Sasha Banks, and then you got the Bad Bunny teams with Damian Priest at WrestleMania and the Bunny Destroyer.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just keep this one short and sweet and kind of agree with Song here that usually a person from Hollywood coming to do a match in WWE is a terrible thing that fans don't look forward to at all. And it's just something to sigh about. It actually makes us mad, right? But this dude, like, I love it because I've seen Bad Bunny go on other shows with, like, Saturday Night Live with the 24/7 title. I've seen him in interviews on shows where they're interviewing him about, his music career. And then they kind of like, and oh yeah, you're doing this thing with the WWE. And they kind of like are poking at it. But he's like, no, this is like one of the things I'm most proud of.
Oh yeah.
And dude, that to me is like, all right, you won me over. It's like, because you are a legit fan and you gave it your all. So I mean, enough said. Like, that moment surprised everybody as fans. He really knocked it out of the park.
They've really flipped the script on that a little bit too. I feel like a lot more of the crossovers and cameos and promotions
are working. Yeah.
Oh yeah, between Arrow and Gold, was it Goldust?
Stardust.
Stardust. There we go. I was like, hold on, I'm not right.
But no, Arrow, and David Arquette.
Yeah, the David Arquette thing. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I'd love to hate it because back in the day it was terrible, but I was like, they've kind of mastered it, and it's for that reason. Only if they're fans, and typically if they're asking to do it, they're fans. Right. So like, but no, I'm with you. I think I will be boring on this one. I'm gonna do Bayley on Sasha just because I've been waiting to happen so long. But
you've been waiting for that heel turn for a long time, huh?
Hey, somebody's got to talk about Bayley. Might as well be me.
Definitely not taking anything away from that, because that storyline was well played out and drawn out. When they took their time with it, they teased it a lot. Sasha Bayley,
you need to give Bayley something to be upset about. She's been winning too long and it's boring. Yeah. All right, but match number 8, Bianca Belair wins the Women's Royal Rumble, sets record for the longest time spent in the match. Or The Miz crashes in Money in the Bank and Elimination Chamber, becomes the first 2-time Grand Slam champion. What you guys going with?
Boy, that's you know what? As much as I hate The Miz, the guy is I respect the hell out of him and his passion for the business. And if this was just like WWE rewarding him for being such a loyal employee all this time, give him another short title run before they have him drop it off to Lashley, it was well deserved. But Bianca Belair, man. Bianca fucking Belair. I mean, so you already praised her. There's nothing more I can say, so I'll just go with Bianca winning the Rumble.
Oh, definitely. Jeremiah, what you going with?
Yeah, Bianca winning the Rumble led to the Mania match that we picked earlier. So I got to go with that one. And I also agree with Song, even though I'm not a hater of the Miz like Song. Song will actually tell you during Miz's first run that I was a fan, and he was like, "I don't even know if I can be friends with you anymore. I don't know."
I don't hate him, but I'm warming up to him. There's some. I think he's kind of got a little bit of an off-putting personality too.
Well, he had the stigma of coming from the MTV reality
world,
show, going against him the whole time.
Oh,
too.
that's right. I forgot about that. But yeah. So, are you going with Bianca then, or are you going with Miz?
No, I got to go with Bianca, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that moment, led to the bigger Mania moment. So
yeah,
I think you got to go with Bianca. That was and plus I'm a huge Rumble fan anyway. So anything connected to the Rumble is probably going to get an automatic boost for me as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. That was like the day I had gotten my COVID diagnosis.
That's right.
Already
oh yeah.
Boy, I was like, well, can't join y'all, but I will be watching.
That's right.
But goddamn, I mean, I teared up because you watched her tear up, and you're just like, girl, you
parents teared up.
Yeah, I mean, I know we, just because we like to still give them a hard time because they've earned that. It was an industry that didn't do well with women and didn't do well with people of color, and she's both. And on top of that, she is so cool to watch.
Yeah,
it is the kind of thing. If you're a dad taking your daughter to get into wrestling, or your kid, or whatever, and you're just like, watch this, it's the Dark Knight Returns moment where that cop says the other guy is like, oh, you're in for a show. Get ready for this.
Whoever's listening, we definitely want to hear your opinion too on each and every one of these. If you want to hit us up, of course, our information is at the end of the show. We'd love to hear what your opinion is on those SB awards. Just go back and listen and let us know what you think. All right, awesome. Well, guys, if you like the show, please, by all means, however you do listen to us, reach out, give us a like, hit the bell, hit the like icon, tell your friends, write it on the bathroom wall. Doesn't really matter. Just let them know about us here at Pin the Champ. You guys have a great night. As always, thank you so much for listening. Now we want to hear from you. You can hit us up at pinthechamppodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at pinthechamp123, and our Google Voice number is 804-446-1139. We can't wait to hear from you.